Hello, everyone. I'm Jane Sherner from writewithjane.com. And today I'm talking to Adrienne McLean, who is working on a book that will be of great interest to everybody in business. Now, Adrienne is a business coach, a certified coach in the book Self-Solid System, a podcaster, and so much more. But what I'd like to do, Adrienne, is to start with the book, because I know that's come out of the marketing conference that you ran not so long ago. So you just kick off wherever you like and tell us about the book, starting with what the title will be.
Yes, the title of the book is Think Bigger, Grow and Succeed. And this title was the theme of our 2019 Professional Services Marketing Conference. And I was starting, when the creation of the conference happened, I was thinking about what theme for that year we were going to have. And so I chatted with various people, and one said, you've got to help us to think bigger about who we are and what we offer the world. And then one of the speakers said, oh, well, really, it's think bigger and grow. And then another speaker, Scott Schindler, said, well, actually, Adrienne, it's think bigger, grow and succeed. So it was a collaborative approach with a client, and then Frank Choi, who is actually one of the authors or contributors to the book, and Scotty Schindler, who's also a contributor to Think Bigger, Grow and Succeed. So it was a real collective effort to come up with the title. And I think it is something that business owners and people who are in the corporate world who have a role to help the business grow, it is something that we need to think about and work on, because it was really quite interesting to see what came out of all the interviews. I've done nearly 50 interviews for this topic, and the book is based on the first series of the interviews, which is about 16 interviews in all.
Fantastic. Off the top of your head, what themes are covered across the interviews?
Right. Well, each interview has 4 questions that the guest is asked, and the first question is around about getting out of your comfort zone, and what are the pros and cons of getting out of your comfort zone.
Oh, I love that.
And then the second question is around thinking wider about your aspirations. What are you wanting to achieve with your business, or what are you wanting to achieve with your career? And how do you think bigger about who you are and who you serve and what you can be? How do you do that? Because it's not actually all that easy, because we're confined by our thinking and about the world that we know already.
So true.
And then the third question is about goal setting and how to do it, and how to put our aspirations into the goal setting process. And the fourth question's about how to actually achieve the goals that we want to achieve. And it does mean that we have to go out of our comfort zone often enough to actually achieve those goals.
That's right. And I guess as a business coach, you're working with people in those kind of parameters, aren't you? You're helping people to see their blind spots, I suppose, for want of a better word.
Oh, absolutely. And well, for instance, the book Your Self-Solid System is a beautiful process for getting more clients. But if people aren't, if my client isn't comfortable with doing some of the tasks that the system requires, then the coach needs to come in and support them to go out of their comfort zone, to actually go and do some of those things they need to do. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, not everybody's very comfortable with going and finding somebody that would help them with their business, ring them up, invite them to a cup of coffee, and then actually know what to say in that conversation. You know, it could be totally out of their comfort zone to go through that process and discuss why they wanted to have that conversation and what could come next, opportunities could come next out of that conversation. And some people are actually quite reserved about doing that sort of outreach to try and get new business or ways of making things happen. And as business owners, if we can't go through that process, we have to learn how to go through that process. Otherwise, the business won't develop. So it's going out of your comfort zone as a business owner is really something that we have to get comfortable with. You've got to get comfortable with discomfort.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So the book is really, I think, of its time, in as much as people are, not comfortable generally with uncertainty. And anyone who's new to business right now, I could imagine it isn't an easy time to be starting a business. So a book can be a great bridge between somebody who's just floundering a little bit, maybe not quite understanding what coaching could do for them, or not brave enough to reach out and put themselves out there to be coached, because in many ways it is a place of discomfort, because a coach will not be making you feel great about everything, certainly helping you celebrate your wins, but pointing out that, accountability matters, and, doing the steps, as you say, that piece about doing the steps is important.
Yeah. Well, when we're in a corporate environment, we have managers and supervisors and people that keep us accountable for our day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month activities. When we go out by ourselves and start our own business, and it sounds fantastic, we are one that has to do everything. We have to go and get the clients. We have to do our actual work, which is looking after the clients. We have to do the paperwork and the invoicing and, the marketing and sales. And we have to do everything associated with running a business. And so you tend to do the things that you like to do. But when it comes to the things that you don't like to do, well, you can put them off. And that can include, for some people, marketing and sales. So service professionals can be experts in their field. They can have, 20 or 30 years of corporate experience and have a lot of experience in a certain area. And then they go out and they go out by themselves and start to sell their services. And the marketing and sales side may not have been in their skill set. And so they've actually got to go and learn how to do marketing and sales. And it is a process, and the faster you learn it, the better. And if you have a proven system that works, then your business will be up and running faster. That's where the work that I do helps service professionals. And the Book Yourself Solid system is for service professionals who want to get more clients, even if they don't like marketing and sales.
Perfect. Even if they don't like it, it's about confidence too, isn't it? You start to get good at having those conversations, and all the stories we've been sold about salespeople, sleazy salespeople, things like that. All those things embedded in the subconscious can be very damaging in the scheme of things.
Yeah, well, it can stop people from wanting to go out and have a sales conversation. Mm-hmm. And having sales conversations, if you've done your marketing, can be a lot easier. If you've got the steps in place, it can be a lot easier. But it goes back to having to go out of your comfort zone and learn the skills to go through the process and have a process to go through. And often enough, the framework can be rather liquid. Get a word?
Great word. I know. Yes, great word. I'd have to own up to that early in business in terms of and I don't know where I thought the customers were going to come from, frankly, but I hadn't factored in that I'd need to be able to have conversations around what can I offer, how will it benefit the client, and what will it cost. And boy, that last piece, that talking about money, looking back on it now, it's almost unbelievable to me that I thought that skidding and scatting around it, and what was the problem I had anyway? I honestly can't put my finger on it, but I wish I found your program very early on in the piece. Of course, we met when I was already several years into business, but I guess we all have our own journey. But I'm interested in your journey. How did you get into business yourself, Adrienne?
Well, I was born into it, really. If you grow up in a family business, you potentially could have what I call an E gene. And the E gene is the entrepreneurial gene. And I avoided it for quite a while. And I didn't want to. I did go into my family business when I was young, and it was my first job, and it taught me the principles of issuing invoices and doing quotations and speaking to customers and all the preparation work. So it was a fantastic grounding for business. But I then went to uni and went through an education and went into the corporate world, and then I got married and had my family, and then this E gene, as I call it, sort of came into fruition, and at that time, I was working on my presentation skills, and I wasn't a confident public speaker. In fact, I was the least confident that one could meet, probably. And I decided after my third child to start working on my public speaking skills, which I did. And I worked on it and I worked on it. And after about 7 years, I got such a boost of confidence. Well, I got a boost of confidence straight away, but it really boosted my confidence to be able to get up and speak in front of people and get my message across and get positive feedback and feedback that I had to work on. It's not all positive, you have to work on things. And so it was just such a huge confidence boost that I just decided to start the speaker's practice. And I became accredited to a program called the Speakers Training Camp. And I went over to Portland, Oregon, and inland to a beautiful village called Hood River. And I became first Australian Speakers Training Camp instructor.
Wow.
And it's a wonderful system and framework to create presentations and whether it's at work or whether it's for a private function. It's a beautiful system that helps you put a presentation together. So I worked on that, but I gravitated, because of my family history, to small business owners and helping small business owners with their presentations, so that they could go out and sell their products and services and have those sales conversations in the workplace that are so important. And along that journey, I found the Book Yourself Solid system, and you can buy the book online. You can, you can download it on Kindle. You can get it in multiple ways, and it's just it just is a systematic way to get more clients, and it made perfect sense. I did, from my corporate experience, I had a background in quality and systems and processes. So it was something that made sense to me. And so from that, I studied with Michael Port, who wrote Book Yourself Solid, and for 4 years went through the programs, and in January 2015 became a certified Book Yourself Solid coach.
So two fabulous systems that coalesce with the speaker's practice, yes, and the Book Yourself Solid, because they're, very much complementary skills, aren't they? Especially now, well, we're getting back to networking, but even, whilst we were in COVID, there was still Zoom networking, and how to, just how to speak about what you do confidently and to connect with people and ask great questions. That's a really important skill to have as well. And, confidence in that arena, I think, is a wonderful service that you offer.
Yeah, there was a conference in, it was about April 2018, and it was a small business and family business conference run by Business New South Wales. And I got to go. It was at the Australian Catholic University. And the upshot of the day was, it was a wonderful day. And the upshot was that the three big areas that small businesses and family businesses struggle with is marketing, personal selling, and asking for the sale. And
asking for the sale, that last piece of the puzzle that people miss out on.
Yes. So the public speaking and confidence building side, and the systematic way to get more clients, personal selling fits right into the middle of that. And then you've got the marketing and the sales side. So it really was a confirmation, I suppose, that the speaker's practice was in the right place doing what it needed to do. So yes. I was so excited that day. And actually, I still today, and that was 4 years ago, I'm still excited because it was there were lecturers there. It was a professional event talking about business issues. And so, it was very exciting.
Fantastic. And now you're going to add author title. And tell us a little bit more about who you see. Will the book be called, what are we going to call the book now? Is it the same title as the conference, or did it morph a little bit?
No, it's Think Bigger, Grow and Succeed, and it's ways to achieve aspirations for entrepreneurial minds.
Oh, I love that.
So,
actually, you don't really need to answer the question of who is this going to serve. I can see the people exactly who will be drawn to that. It's fantastic. Now, when will it be available?
Well, we're working on it at the moment. It actually has been quite a process, which you know all about, Jane.
I do.
It started with the podcasts, and I did the podcasts and got the recordings. Then I transcribed the interviews, and then I had the interviews transcriptions fine-tuned.
Yes.
And then started to look at the platforms to create the books, and then had to work on the length that the interviews were in the written form, and so now we have all the interviews together. I've written my 3 chapters, so I've got the opening chapters and have a closing overview chapter, and so now we're up to the publishing side. So I'm hoping by the end of the year, by December, that we'll be up and running and be able to have a book launch.
Well, it sounds like you're well and truly on track for that to happen. Definitely time-wise, it's possible. And I think really what I want to do is that I'll put a slide at the end of the video that comes out of this conversation with the contact points for people if they want to follow up with you. Because I think in the interim, well, depending when people are watching the video, of course, it might be when the book is out and they can just Google the book and find it. But in the interim, I think if anybody wants any help with their speaking, with their sales process, with running their business, especially if they're in the startup phase, but definitely at any phase, because there's always opportunity. And really, I've had a coach myself, and that having somebody to be able to see what I'm just simply not seeing because I'm either too deeply into the business and, looking after my clients, because that's what I love. You've got to keep your eye on the landscape and just see what's happening, especially in the way the world is changing at the moment. So many opportunities opening up, and we hear so much about opportunities closing down, but there are opportunities opening up. And that's where a coach can help you get out of, if you're feeling at all like your business is stale or stagnating, this is where a coach comes in, really, really comes into their own.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you so much, Adrienne. I'm definitely getting a copy of that book when it's available. And seriously, as I say, anyone listening here who has resonated with anything in the conversation around business, Adrienne is somebody that you would love to have a conversation with, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you so much, Jane.
You're welcome.